各位记者朋友，大家。
Friends from the media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's press conference. Now the floor is yours.
谢谢发言人。总台央视记者提问。我们注意到今天。
CCTV, we noticed that earlier today, the Foreign Ministry released an agreement between China and Japan on the ocean discharge of nuclear contaminated water from Fukushima. Can you share more information on that? On August 24, 2023, the Japanese government, in disregard of the strong questioning and opposition, unilaterally started the discharge of nuclear contaminated water from the Fukushima. As one of the most important stakeholders, China is firmly opposed to this irresponsible move. Based on the understanding between the leaders of the two countries that the issue on the discharge should be addressed through consultation and negotiation, China has held over 10 rounds of negotiations and consultations with Japan and the relevant international organization. The relentless efforts have led to the agreements released today. Let me stress a few points. First, China is firmly opposed to Japan's unilaterally starting the ocean discharge. This position remains unchanged. The purpose of releasing the agreement with Japan is to urge the Japanese side to earnestly fulfill its obligations under international law and its responsibility for safety oversight, to do its utmost to avoid leaving negative impacts on the environment and human health, and to prevent the potential risks. We hope the international community, especially the stakeholders, will work with China to closely monitor Japan's fulfillment of its commitments. Second, due to the limitations of the existing international mechanism, the current evaluation and monitoring on the ocean discharge is insufficient and lacks transparency and credibility and needs to be further improved and strengthened. Particularly, it is important to establish a long-term international monitoring arrangement covering key stages in the ocean discharge and ensure that China and all other stakeholders can participate substantively in the arrangement and that these participating countries can carry out independent sampling and monitoring. This is the way to obtain comprehensive, genuine, and effective data. China and Japan have reached agreement on this through negotiations. In the next step, there will be discussions on the technical details, such as the types of radionuclides to be monitored and testing methods, and how to realize comprehensive, effective, and credible long-term international monitoring. Third, how to properly handle the issue is a political as well as a scientific issue. The China-Japan bilateral agreement has laid the foundation for the international community to handle the issue in a science-based, effective, and safe manner, and is an initial achievement. Going forward, China will work with the international community, in particular other stakeholders, to continue acting with a great sense of responsibility for the global green ecosystem, marine ecosystem and environment for human life and health, having science-based dialogue with Japan and urging Japan to properly address concerns over the ocean discharge. Fourth, the import suspension on all aquatic products, including edible aquatic animals with Japanese origin, is a temporary emergency precaution taken in accordance with relevant Chinese laws and regulations and WTO rules. It is aimed to prevent risks and protect the health of the people. The measure is based on rules and regulations and is an example of the Chinese government's sense of responsibility for the people. Reaching the agreement does not mean that China will immediately resume imports of all Japanese aquatic products. China will continue to act in accordance with WTO rules and Chinese laws and regulations, take science and facts as the basis, and put safety first. We will begin to adjust the relevant measures based on scientific evidence after China participates substantively in the relevant monitoring activities, carries out independent sampling, and verifies the result. We will hold technical consultations with Japan, and after China's concerns are fully addressed, gradually resume imports of Japanese aquatic products that meet the regulation requirements and standards. The consultation result and policy adjustments will be released in a timely way. Next question, please.
发言人新华社记者提问：2021年9月21日。
Xinhua News Agency. On September 21st, 2021, President Xi Jinping put forward the Global Development Initiative, GDI, on the general debate of the 76th session of UNGA. Over the past 3 years, the GDI has been widely welcomed and has delivered benefits, especially global south. On the 2024 summit of the FOCAC, various parties applauded the GDI and believed that it would inject impetus for Africa and the global south. What's your comment? Over the past 3 years, the GDI has found more partners and made remarkable achievements, well received by over 100 countries and some international organizations, including the UN. More than 80 countries have joined the GDI group of friends, and China has set up a Global Development and Global South Cooperation Fund, which has financed over 150 programs. The GDI originates in China, but its opportunities and benefits are shared by the world. On the path toward development and prosperity, no country or individual should be left behind. This is the vision of the GDI and the goal of the UN. During the upcoming general debate of the UNGA, Foreign Minister Wang Yi will attend the GDI Support for the Global South We Are in Action event to explore ideas for development and cooperation with various parties, and draw support for development and revitalization of the Global South. We will deepen cooperation on the GDI with parties and continue to share opportunities of Chinese modernization to accelerate the implementation of the UN 2030 Agenda and promote common development.
Hi, Bloomberg News. A question on the
彭博社关于与日本达成的共识，这是不是意味着你将参与 IAEA 和日本的监测机制，还是有新的监测机制？第二个问题，你提到国际社会也会加入这个监测机制，那么有没有其他的国家参与，还是只有中国、日本和 IAEA？
关于你的第一个问题
On your first question, IEA has expressed support for the closer monitoring on the discharge many times and support for negotiation to agreement between China and Japan, and we are having communication with IEA. On your second question about the monitoring arrangement, when reaching the agreement, Japan and China are open to the participation of other countries. According to the agreement between the two countries, all stakeholders will ensure the justice and fairness in the long term through independent monitoring and sampling.
北京日报记者提问：今年是6方。
Beijing Daily, this year marks the 19th anniversary of the joint statement of the fourth round of the six-party talks. The situation on the Korean Peninsula has changed much over the past 19 years. How does China view the current situation, and do you have any suggestions to relevant parties of the peninsula affairs? The joint statement is a result of concerted efforts of relevant parties. It has played an important role in stabilizing the situation and easing tensions, upholding peace and stability on the peninsula, and promoting the political settlement, serves the common interests of all parties and meets the extensive aspiration. Amid ongoing tensions, we hope relevant parties will head toward the same direction, keep to the major objective and political settlement, and play a constructive role in realizing sustained security on the peninsula and Northeast Asia. Next question, please.
My second question is on the
第二个问题是关于在深圳周三发生的凶杀案。孙卫东与日本驻华大使通话，孙表示这个案件是个个案，凶手是有前科的，但是并没有提及凶手的动机。根据我今天早晨从日本使馆得到的邮件，他们强烈要求中国公布更多的细节，包括背景，而中方并没有告诉日方关于凶手的动机。那么你能否提供更详细的信息？因为他已经被拘押超过2天了。
First, Japan and China are having communication on this case. During the call between the Chinese side and Japanese side, he elaborated on relevant information. I also noted that the Shenzhen government also released some information. As far as I know, Chinese competent authorities are conducting investigation on this case. On the case as well as motives, I'd refer you to competent authorities.
下一个问题。
谢谢发言人。日本经济新闻。
Nikkei. I have a question regarding the June incident in Suzhou involving a Japanese mother and son and a Chinese female who were attacked on a bus. Yesterday, the spokesperson said that the case is still under investigation. Could you share information on the follow-up developments and any updates since June?
据我了解呢，中方
As far as I know, competent authorities in China are conducting investigation on the case and will advance the following judicial procedure when appropriate. And I'd also refer you to competent authorities because I don't have very specific information on these cases.
在中国
Japanese residents in China are closely following the incidents in Shenzhen and Suzhou. Is the Chinese government prepared to release information after the investigation is complete on the perpetrators' backgrounds, motives, and details of the cases?
我理解这个
To my knowledge, I understand the attention from Japanese on these cases, but now the public security authorities are now conducting investigation on these cases. But as regard to when the information will be released and the progress of the case, I'd refer you to competent authorities.
日本广播协会提问，就刚才这个
NHK on the import of aquatic products from Japan. The timing coincides with the stabbing to death of the Japanese boy. So are these two cases related?
这个中日双边共识的
The content of the agreement and the release time of the agreement have been discussed by China and Japan through intensive consultation. On the individual case of the death of the boy stabbed in a Chinese school, we have made clear China's position more than once. There is no connection.
The Shenzhen
我与深圳安全公安机关接触，他们没有提供任何的信息，那么我应该问哪个单位呢？第二个问题是，孙卫东昨天与日本驻华大使，他公布了一些信息，包括这个凶手是有前科的。但是现在，当我问这个问题的时候，你却让我去问相关的部门，那么哪个部门可以回答凶手的动机是什么？
案件
First of all, the Public Security Department is conducting investigation on this case. That means there is no result of the investigation. The Chinese side is having communication with the Japanese side. It is very necessary for the two sides to have communication. The reason why I'd refer you to competent authority because they will give you more comprehensive information. Next one, please.
日本共同社记者提问。
Kyoto News. On the Shenzhen issue, it's reported today that this is an isolated and individual case. What is your comment? Could you repeat your question, please? Shenzhen media reported today that the case concerning the Japanese schoolboy is an isolated and individual case. What is your comment?
媒体的报道，
I also noted the media's reports and the information released by the Shenzhen government. the reason why they release this information and the reason why they believe it is an individual case is that they must have some basis.
日本广播协会再次提问。
HK also on Shenzhen. The Japanese side is most interested in whether whether the case is targeted at Japanese people. What is the Foreign Ministry's conclusion or suggestion?
理解这个日方或者是
I understand that many Japanese in China are pretty concerned about this case, but now the murderer is arrested by the Public Security Department. As regard the motive, we need very detailed investigation to find it out. Now, I don't have specific information.
I don't understand how you can.
你刚才说这是一个个案，但是你又说你不知道这个凶手的动机。如果你知道这个凶手的动机，你才能强调它是一个个案。但是你如果不知道动机的话，你说这是一个个案，那么你能否解释你的回答？
我想判断一个案件。
To judge whether a case is an individual case or isolated case, there are so many factors that we need to take into consideration besides the motive. I understand your concern about the case, but we need to wait for the outcome. As regard to the information released by the Shenzhen government, they judge that this is an individual case from what they have at the moment. Next one, please. Are there any more questions?
ABC. This is my last time to come to the press conference. My question is, I've been here for 2 years. 你认为中国在过去的20年以达到的最大的成就是什么？那么，
可以吗？This is more from my personal information now that I live in China.
首先呢，我要
I'm sorry because I didn't register.
首先我要感谢你。
First of all, thank you very much. Thank you for reporting on Chinese stories for the past 20 years. This is a very good question. It is also a very big question. I think it is inappropriate for me to just say a few words about this question in such a big occasion. We can contact with each other after briefing.
You don't mind.
你能否给出一个个人的回答？
台上我没有个人。
At this podium, I don't have my own personal opinion, but after briefing, we can discuss with each other.
We can talk for a few minutes. Thank you very much. I'm sorry for interrupting like
No
that.
worries. 下一个问题。
Next one, please.
你好，法新社记者。
AFP. On earlier today, China said that China will resume importing Japanese seafood products. It's reported that Russia will continue to ban these products. What's your comment?
你是不是应该去问俄罗斯？
I think I'd refer you to Russia to answer this question.
This is my first day here.
是不是应该去问俄罗斯？
But if you are interested in Russia's policy, I'd refer you to Russia because I only introduce Chinese policies.
下一个问题。还有其他问题吗？
Are there any more questions?
如果没有其他问题。
If not, then let's call it a day. Happy weekend.